So this is the consent form. I'm Kimberly and I'm at Southern New Hampshire University, and for this course I'm going to have a volunteer, which I thank you for doing for me, and I appreciate your willingness to do this assignment. We will be recording it, and if at any time you feel uncomfortable or anything, I will be happy to stop. So you don't have to worry about that. And I am just an interviewer, and so obviously I can't give you any professional advice. This is just trying to get me used to interviewing people for the class. And my teacher who will be watching this, but it will not be shared, is Dr. Krupski, and it is for my human counseling class. Okay, and you have signed for me, so that's to show y'all that we got signed. Okay, so now let us begin. So what brings you in today?
I've just been overwhelmed with all the stuff that's going on. My dad's drinking has picked up. He's always been a drinker, but he's been drinking more. He still goes to work and he still brings home the paycheck, but he's I think mom's afraid he's gonna lose his job, and she keeps threatening to leave, and they have these big fights. And so I've been coping with this by getting really depressed and anxious and nervous and upset. And so I've been binge drinking.
So have you only done that one time, or have you found it becoming more of a constant?
I've done it more than once, um, but the scary thing that brought me in was that I had a small part, but a speaking part in our school play, which is part of my theater class. And this last time that I drank, I blacked out and missed the performance. And that that was sort of the wake up call that brought me in to see somebody professional. Um, I'm I know I can't keep doing this. And
Does the drinking to the point that you black out make you feel better? Does it?
I've only blacked out the one time, but
Okay.
that was a scary time. The other time, I just drank enough to make me really sleepy.
And how often do you find yourself doing that?
Well, with mom and dad fighting for about the last 6 weeks, and I mean fighting, not not physical, but there's so much yelling and animosity, and mom makes all sorts of ugly, ugly comments about dad, and then she tells him she's gonna leave, and he yells back and encourages her to leave. Just, go ahead and do it if you don't like. But, mom married right out of high school. So, I mean, she's young, but she's never worked. She's always depended on dad's income. And so that's a stressor, because I think though, I don't know. I was going to say, I think that at my age, I could choose the parent I want to live with, and I think I would choose my dad because, uh,
Even with his drinking?
yeah, because maybe if I'm there and not yelling at him, and maybe helping him find things to do besides drinking, that maybe he'll stop.
But that's a lot to put on yourself, because people who drink have to have the want to stop.
I know.
And it's a hard vice to let go of.
Yeah,
But do you think if you stayed with him, you would drink more too?
I might. I mean, because that's the one thing. Dad makes sure that there's alcohol, beer, and even hard liquor, uh, which is how I got in trouble, because I tried the hard liquor. and I didn't know what kind of whammy it was going to give me.
So let's back up for just a second. You mentioned you missed your school play.
Yeah.
So did you call and tell them you weren't going to be there, or did you just not show up?
I blacked out, so I wasn't conscious enough to call, and mom and dad weren't planning on attending the play. They were arguing, which is why I drank. And so no. And I've cut the theater class since then, so I'm going to be in trouble with the assistant principal for cutting classes, and I'm going to end up in detention or ISS.
Well, see, if you look at it that way, those are several big consequences to you getting blackout drunk that can affect your school and getting, credits that you need to graduate.
And it's hard to concentrate on these tough subjects like chemistry and the AP classes when your mom and dad are yelling at each other, and a lot of times when dad is drinking, if mom lands in on him, then he throws his beer cans or his beer bottles or his whatever he has in his hands, not to hurt, but just out of anger. He hasn't. Luckily, he's never hit her or me with any of that, but it's his frustration, uh, and I don't know whether he's frustrated with himself for continuing to drink or whether he's just frustrated from mom yelling at him. But I'm frustrated from living with all the yelling and screaming and carrying on, and having them do that while I'm trying to do homework, while I'm trying to study, while I'm getting ready, because I mean the tests are, I have the fall exams, but the spring test will be here before I know it, and I need to keep up.
Have you thought about talking with your parents or sitting down and telling them how much this troubles you, having it from both sides of the family? It's got to be even more difficult on you. You need to try to see if you can let them know how you're feeling and how it affects you.
Well, I haven't, no, because I mean, I guess I'm figuring that if I try that, the same thing will happen when mom says something like, do you really need that second beer? And then the next thing you know, they're yelling and screaming. So I kind of don't want to be there in the yelling and screaming. So I just try to distance myself from the fight. I can't bury myself. I can't really concentrate to bury myself in my schoolwork, but I do sometimes try, um, especially since the blackout. Uh, I've, I've tried to be away from the house so that I don't hear the yelling and screaming, and hope that I don't drink because I'm doing other things. I'm going to the library or visiting with friends or.
Well, I think that's a good thing to get you away from the environment and being somewhere where you're enjoying doing things that are not going to trigger you wanting to drink. Like you said, go into your friends' houses, go to the library, go shopping, go for coffee. But I do think it comes down that you need to let your parents know how you're feeling about this and have
I
them.
just don't want it to turn into a fight where I'm in the middle again.
Why not have them come to one of your sessions with your therapist? That way, you've got a professional there to talk with them and talk with you, and maybe you can get it out in the open and it'll be in a constructive way instead of a non constructive way.
Yeah, I think when I suggest therapy, they're going, Dad's going to take it personally, that it's just about him, and then
But
mom.
now it's about you because it's affecting you, and they need to want what's best for you. And if they can see how it is hurting you and affecting your schooling, affecting your health, it might be better than telling them you're coming to therapy. Tell
Yeah.
them you're just coming to.
I'm not. I'm not sure I know how to approach them about coming to therapy. Um, I'm just afraid that I mention it, and then that's going to turn into another fight.
Maybe just write them a letter and tell them that if you're really scared to talk to them in person, leave a letter on the kitchen table that talks about how you think you want them to come with you to one of your therapy sessions so they can talk with the provider too. So, and just keep trying to hang out with your friends and go to the library, focus on schoolwork.
Yeah. I know I need to apologize to the
And you
theater
do need
teacher
to apologize for the
and to the
theater teacher.
class,
Yep.
the cast.
Because that's a big step in making
yeah.
amends with what's going on.
But with all the yelling and screaming, it'll just totally freak me out if the teacher raises her voice because I know she's. Again, I didn't have a big part, but there's no understudy, so there was no one who knew exactly all the words to fit in.
Not that she should yell, but there are consequences when you skip things and it was something you chose to do.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to blame you, but it was something that you did. And you need to just try to make amends with the teacher in the class and apologize, and we'll take it from there, okay?
Okay, I think I can do that. I think I'll start with the teacher, and then I think I'll do the letter writing so that I can be out of the house when they read it, and then come back in and kind of judge their temperament.
Well, that sounds good. Well, I'm glad you decided to come in today and talk with me, and I hope that you've gotten a couple of ideas on things to help and maybe start on a newer path.
Yeah, I hope so.
But I'm always here if you need me, okay?